Alright, my name is Aiden, and I'm a large vehicle operator here at McMurdo Station. My day is pretty much the same as anyone else I know. I wake up, drink coffee, work out, drive a vehicle, eat something, try to explore somewhere, and then jump into the sauna right before going to bed. And then I do it all again the next day.
I'm pretty drawn to cold places. Like before this, I was in Fairbanks, Alaska. And it was like, well, what's colder and more remote than Fairbanks?
It's insane. I literally think it's insane. Like, someone pour vodka out of a third-story window during a music festival at the bottom of the earth.
McMurdo Station is like an adult summer camp and prison at the same time.
This entire line here is for the booze, and it's only available for an hour and a half. Sean is stoked.
You make it however you want. It's a really nice community to be a part of.
They do not Roy! Wreck it, Roy! He's gonna wreck it! He's gonna wreck it! And the galley really bringing their A game. Oh, he is safe! It's your day off!
You're generally in an environment of like-minded people who are willing to take on new things and explore a little bit, specifically a social environment that I really enjoy.
There's obviously the negativity of like, just really exhausted and I don't want to see anyone. Well, guess what? You're gonna see 100 of your closest friends on the way to the galley.
A lot of the equipment and gear here is still pretty old. Say if you came from like Silicon Valley where everything is new and flash, down here stuff has been here for a really long time. So it's cool to see kind of like how things can still work and function, even though it's not like the newest and greatest. The fact that you work all the time, there's a lot of grueling hours that you have to put in terms of existing down here. Who wants to just live stream their whole 54-hour work week or something? It comes at a cost. I mean, it's by no means vacation.
One day it's sunny, the next day you're in some bad snowstorm. There's people from all over the world. There's people who have done all kinds of things.
Being in this space, with all its ups and downs, I've loved that experience. That's just been amazing to me. It's been like being a kid again, just being curious and wow, every day looking outside is incredible.
I think it's really cool that multiple countries kind of band together here just for the sake of like progressing science, and it's like the one place where I believe there's no like military training allowed.
It's such a bizarre place to be. You're completely iced in to Ross Island, connected to mainland Antarctica.
NCC Stormy.
Being in this place was never a thought when I was growing up as a kid. The season itself is quite short. It's only 4 months long, and thankfully it's the summer season. So that means the sun never goes down. And because of that, you never feel like really going to bed. There's so many things to do around the clock that you just naturally want to stay up later. The wildlife alone makes you want to stay outside a little bit more than you'd expect. And you start to question your own reality when you see a polar vessel break a passage through a frozen ocean, dock at McMurdo Port, which is made of ice, and then you start to see orcas patrolling this new channel that just was opened up by the icebreaker in search of seals. The experience is without a doubt wild. Something you notice quite early on while living here is how small McMurdo really is. You're truly stuck in this little polar town for months on end. It's something I didn't really think of as a big deal when I arrived, but then the realization sets in. I can't just leave for the weekend. I can't just check out a new restaurant I haven't been to. I can't drive to a nearby town. I can't go anywhere. I am literally stuck in this town with the same people for 4 months straight. And their faces are the only faces I'm going to see the entire time I am here. It's weird. Not necessarily bad, but definitely weird. The funny thing is, almost everyone here, when I asked about what they would describe McMurdo Station as, they all said almost the same thing.
I know I've described it in the past as like summer camp. It's the blend of having your work and your social life so intimately intertwined.
I think I'd call McMurdo like college for adults, but instead of studying, we're working.
I would describe McMurdo Station as college, especially just the living arrangement in general.
McMurdo Station is like an adult summer camp and prison at the same time.
I have 3 roommates, and we live in very close quarters. You basically live in hallways where all of your coworkers and everyone else on the station also lives, so you're constantly running into people that you work with, and you see basically the same people every day.
You can't leave, even if you wanted to, and yet it's like a high school lockout where you're here, you've got a cool, tight-knit community, everybody's working hard, but also playing hard and connecting in various ways, professionally and, recreationally. We're hiking trails and we're getting out together. So it's a really interesting dynamic in that way.
If I had to say one sentence about McMurdo Station, it's a cacophony of chaos. But with chaos comes balance. It's good and bad. There's really fun parties and there's great get-togethers Wednesdays, Tuesdays. You make it however you want.
Whenever you leave the buildings, you might be running because it's cold out. A lot of people get along, which is nice. You get a little drama here and there, which is fun to hear about.
So many people here that are willing to host like recreational events and like classes. There's no shortage of things going on. There's always something to do. And there's a kick-ass band room with a huge variety of instruments. I think that probably also surprised me. Also, the record room that we're currently recording this in right now is pretty sick.
I'm more of a social person, so I like to go to trivia nights, and that's how we cemented our friend group. There's people who are talented down here that play any instrument you can think of. And even those who aren't that great, it's still amazing to find someone playing a saxophone on a Tuesday at 5:30. It's just really, really cool.
I have taken the charge of having my own board game night and having my own movie nights and things like that, because those are things I really enjoy and like.
So many different people in one space that are just oddly supportive of each other. Everyone is so cool. Everyone has done such different things, and we all kind of come together and are very supportive of one another, and we just laugh all day long.
And yeah, the station's just like a little microcosm of, I don't know, the US.
America. I guess before I came here, I just imagined the ice continent and penguins and nature, but so to include that human component of weirdness was unexpected.
This is a very intentional place to come. The process to come here takes a very long time. So when you first get here, everyone is insanely stoked to be here, and it's just a great atmosphere.
Oh my gosh, the nightlife at McMurdo is a scene. You don't even have to look for the party. There's 2 buildings you can go in.
Yeah, nightlife, I'd say, is still focused around Gallagher's and Southern's and those establishments. And just everything is so blended down here that it can be easier to rally people on any sort of bandwagon you're trying to put together.
I didn't expect anything about Antarctica. I had no idea what I was coming into. I had no idea what it was going to be like. We can recount some of what we've seen this year already. We've seen someone pour vodka out of a 3rd-story window and somebody catch it in their mouth at the bottom during a music festival at the bottom of the earth on New Year's Eve. I mean, I could keep counting things, but I probably shouldn't talk about them.
The amount of weirdness, which I've come to appreciate the weirdness.
Something that stands out about McMurdo nightlife in comparison to other places is how hard people go, in terms of themes and dressing up, and kind of anything is incredibly acceptable. There's nothing you can do here that people will be like, oh, that's weird, because they've probably seen something more weird.
Seeing the NASA LDB balloon, which is like a $50 million space telescope, floating over the ice stock concert stage on New Year's Eve. That's a weird contrast that the brain has trouble with.
Dude, also everybody dresses up. They don't tell you that either. So like when I first showed up, I had on like my work clothes, like my sweaters, and you show up and people are in like Yeti costumes and penguin costumes, and they've got like, they're dressed like disco balls. Like 1 minute you're at work, the next minute you're working on a penguin. This is McMurdo.
If you wear something crazy, instead of being like, ooh, it's like, hell yeah.
This coming weekend, there's going to be a wedding, and that wedding will evolve into a rave. There's been bigger events like Ice Stock, Christmas Eve dinner, and Thanksgiving Eve dinner that also turn into dance parties. It's definitely a work hard, play hard environment, and it's really fun to do both.
Seeing people at Willie Field, the galley staff in t-shirts on their bicycles, riding past the volcano Mount Erebus in the background with smoke coming off the top of it.
It's a lot, but it's really, really good. It's a positive environment. People are here to support you. People are here to just listen to you, and vice versa. It's a really nice community to be a part of.
So the contrast for me looks like folks running a 10K road race around Scott's hut, where when you take the context of the stories behind the hut of men in the early 1900s exploring the continent for the first time and the struggles that they had, and there were people dying literally on those expeditions, and now we have people in Pokemon onesie costumes running a 10K around this hut. That's a very strange contrast.
The biggest problem with the nightlife would probably just be that you see the same people every time, so it's not like you can't like really go out and meet new people very much. So especially if you're trying to avoid someone, that's kind of hard to do.
This is what I hate about Antarctica. Fight season. Fight season was described to me by Jen. When we first got here, she said, oh my God, this is so nice. Everyone is being so nice to each other. Wait till January. And I was like, what happens in January? And she was like, fight season. So fight season is when people are tired of being nice all the time, I guess. They're tired of like being like, hey, nice to meet you, blah, 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 blah. And then they just unleash monsters in January. And they're like, actually, your feet stink. And they just start fighting with people about the most random things because you've been on a seasonal job with them for so long. And now, like, the little things that bothered you, you were like, oh, that's kind of annoying, but I'm going to let it go because I don't really know her. Now we know each other. So now I can tell you.
Living in a room with multiple other roommates is challenging, I think. You don't really have private space. The private space thing is a challenge.
I think so. I consider myself to have like a pretty low social battery. I'm constantly seeing people and like having to like interact with them. I like being able to like escape for a bit and not feel like obligated to catch up with everyone that I see.
But, to work down here is, you work very long hours, you don't make overtime. And, the pay is frankly not great.
I think one thing I'd like to change is the divide between the grantees and the support, I suppose. You don't see often like the groups all coming together. You really see VMF sits over there and the galley people work over or sit over there. And yeah, it's cliquish, and of course you're going to be with your work centers. But I really think there should be, I don't know, I don't have the right solution.
I'm not a fan of is the floor will like bounce. So my bed is like right next to the hallway, and I can certainly feel some people walking by because the whole bed will like shake. It would be nice to have some thicker walls so you're not hearing people snoring.
I have like one answer for something that really chaps my ass. And that would be just like the inability to just go. Like, I feel like we're surrounded by these mountains and like adventures at our fingertips, but if you go do it or attempt to, you're kicked off the continent, which is like totally understandable because that is a safety hazard. But also it just is like, I'm looking out this window, I'm like, ugh, those mountains, like they want to be climbed, but we can't. Having to check out, and you can never really just like go
Okay.
Oh, I have one more thing.
Go for it.
One more thing. That I hate.
Okay, sweet.
No dogs. I cannot wait to pet a dog and hug a tree again.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm gonna cry the first dog I pet.
Alright, do you want to know what a dead 50-year-old seal looks like in Antarctica? Check it out. Crazy how things are preserved when nothing ever thaws. It's almost all the way over and this is way down. It's almost sunset. So the truth of the matter is this. Everyone who came here wanted to come here. No one was forced to. Like many of the people I interviewed said, this is a very intentional place to be. You and you alone decided to come here. It actually takes a lot of work to get here, and you have to be sometimes pretty lucky just to be physically qualified enough to get here in the first place. So for that opportunity, you should already feel pretty special about it. I personally came here probably because I'm a bit lost, but everyone I talked to in these interviews, these friends and people that also lived here, came here for different reasons. And some had quite a bit more depth than just wanderlust.
I remember looking at the map in probably first grade, maybe 6 years old, something like that, and thinking, wow, that would be a cool place to go to, because the rest of the map really looked drawn out. And Antarctica was kind of this big expanse, like what's down there? So I remember that curiosity from 6 years old probably, and then started putting out applications 10 years ago, I think.
So when I was a kid, my best friend's dad worked here, and actually he still works here. He was doing a handstand at pole, and it was cool because he flipped the picture upside down on Facebook. It looked like he was holding up the world, and I knew I wanted to also hold up the world. So I was about 10 when all of this was happening, and so 17 years later, I'm finally here, and this has been the dream. Like, people gave me penguins since I was 10 because they knew I wanted to come here, and it was just a full circle moment.
And I think there was also just like the lore and the draw of the name itself, like Antarctica. When you see it is possible, it's like, well, you gotta do it now. You'd be a clown for not.
Yeah, I think it's an adventure, and life is an adventure, so.
Really wanted to see Antarctica and see one of the few places on Earth that have been pretty untouched by humans.
Something about the explorative nature of the human spirit.
I remember my first night here, I came into the lounge in 207, I was talking with my boss who'd already been here. I have no idea what she was telling me because I was just looking at the view that I'm looking at right now, and it's just amazing to be here at the station, bottom of the world, looking out across McMurdo Sound, seeing Mount Discovery, seeing the Royal Society Range. It is, there's no words for it.
My name is Cullen Welch, and I am a shuttle driver.
So my name's Dane Murray. It's my second season down here, and currently I'm a hazardous waste technician.
So I'm Diana. I'm a polar seismic engineer with EarthScope.
Hi, my name is S.I. I am a aviation logistics coordinator, aka shuttle senior.
My name is Kyle Buse, and I am a food services steward here at McMurdo Station.
Hi, my name is Reese, and I'm a food steward here.
Is it going?
It's going.
Hi, my name is Sarah Olson. However, people here call me Froggy now. Frog is my name. And I even found this frog. Can I show the camera?
Yeah, sure.
In Skua yesterday, I found this frog bracelet, so I'm fully embracing it.
That's awesome.
But I work in cargo here, and That's my job. I think Antarctica is seen as, like, when you think of it, you think of this like blustery place, always cold, like freezing outside. Life is really hard. But I was surprised by how easy life is here. And kind of the amount that we've like beat the wild out of McMurdo and the surrounding areas. Like the Spa Traverse, for example, they have Starlink, they have Wi-Fi in the middle of Antarctica. So I think in today's world, you're never actually disconnected from everything. Like you can be in the middle of nowhere and still have Instagram on your phone.